Hey friend, Graham here from recordingrevolution.com. Today I want to do something fun. I want to show you how to get that Dave Grohl, Foo Fighters doubled vocal effect. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just go and listen to just about every single Foo Fighters song since 1995.
Visiting is pretty, visiting is good. Seems that all they ever do along and now to talk about. Keep you in the dark, you know they don't pretend.
Starting from that very first debut self-titled record where Dave played every instrument and was the entire band, as it were, he's always had that signature doubled vocal sound. Now, he didn't invent this. This has been going on for decades, and he's not the only one these days using it. But growing up in the 90s and listening to grunge, I listened to a lot of Foo Fighters, and I got real used to that sound. And it's a very useful technique, and it's so simple to do. But the reason I'm doing this video is twofold. One, there's a mistake that people make. They assume you can do this in post-production, and you kind of can with some plugins, and you kind of can fake it with some manipulation, which I've done in the past here, and I've shown you that. But you can't just copy and double a vocal inside of your DAW. It won't sound bigger. It'll just sound like the same thing, only louder. You need an actual double. You need to actually re-record the part on a separate take. So let me show you what that looks like. I'm gonna sing the vocal on one of my songs one time through, so you can take a listen to what it sounds like. Then I'm gonna perform the double, so you can hear them together. And then I'm gonna show you inside of Pro Tools how to treat the double, to clean it up a little bit, and a couple of options we have to get that massive, really cool Foo Fighters Dave Grohl sound.
I get no sleep from these whispers in my head. My victory is clenched in my bleeding hand. I know it's me. Just gotta break this spell I'm in. I won't be free until my story's all broken in. Something's going wrong these days, 'cause they're coming out swinging these blades, trying to prove it's for honor. Something's going wrong these days, 'cause they're coming out swinging these blades, trying to prove it's for honor.
And now I'm going to re-record all that on a separate track inside of my software. So I'll be listening to my original and basically re-performing the exact same thing, with the goal of trying to follow along as closely as possible.
I get no sleep from these whispers in my head. My victory is clenched in my bleeding hand. I know it's me. Just gotta break this spell I'm in. I won't be free till my story's all broken in. Something's going wrong these days, 'cause they're coming out swinging these blades, trying to prove it's for honor. Something's going wrong these days, 'cause they're coming out swinging these blades, trying to prove it's for honor.
All right, so here are my two takes, Graham Vox and Graham Vox double. So again, two separate tracks, two separate performances, and here's what they sound like together as is.
I get no sleep from these whispers in my head. My victory.
Right, so now when you're in the software, you have a lot of choices of how prominent you want this effect to be. Do you want it to be a super obvious double like it is with all of Dave Grohl's stuff and Foo Fighters, or do you want it to be a little more subtle? So that's all going to be a play with level. Pick your main vocal, in this case, I'm going to say Vox 1, and put it at an appropriate level, and then take your double and tuck it underneath a little bit. So here's, let's say, 7 dB down.
I get no sleep from these whispers in my head, my victory.
Take it away, the double.
I get no sleep from these whispers in my head, my victory
Add it in.
is clenched in my bleeding hand. I know it's me.
So now you've got the effect even when it's tucked down, 7 dB or so. So here's a couple of tips for you to make this even more effective. Depending on how good you are at doubling yourself, or the vocalist is, it might be worth tightening up some consonants. So what I mean is, you're not going to perfectly line up, nor do you need to. That's why it sounds cool, because it's slightly off. But you don't want to have any distractions. And so certain consonants, like the end of phrases, like if you end on a P or a K or a T, that final sound is obvious when it's missing. And so let's see if we can find any in this example.
I get no sleep from these whispers in my head, my victory
Pretty good so far.
is clenched in my bleeding hand. I know it's me.
If you wanted to be picky, this is clenched.
Is clenched.
The second one comes in later than the first one.
Is clenched in my.
So you could tighten this up if you want. You know what? That sounds fine. I'm going to leave it. Keep listening.
It's gonna break this spell I'm in. It's gonna break this. It's gonna break this.
That's fine.
I won't be free
Listen to this line.
until my story's all broken in.
All pretty good there. Let's get to the hook.
Something's going wrong these days, 'cause they're coming out swinging these blades. Trying
So right here, the S's.
blades.
I come in later on my S on the second take than I do on the first one. So literally, this is what I do. I'll break it. I'll zoom in here. And I'll just move the S over, because this is not a vocalization. This is just a consonant.
In these blades, trying to prove.
Solves the problem.
Blades, trying to prove. It's for honor. Something's going wrong these days, 'cause they're coming out swinging.
That's still fine. My K comes in a little earlier, so you could always, I'm just showing you could be more picky. You could just break it here and slide this up. Drop in a crossfade if you really want to be correct.
'Cause they're coming out swinging these blades, trying to prove.
Same thing with the S's here. And what you notice is I'm basically deferring to the first take. You got to pick one take to be correct. It doesn't matter. So if the first one's the best performance, make that correct and slide the consonants, on the other ones to that.
Blades, trying to prove. It's for honor.
So that was a really clean performance, and I'm not tooting my own horn. I sometimes don't get it, and sometimes it's the lyrics. If the lyrics have a lot more consonants, I'm ending on a K or a T or a P, it's harder to time that perfectly. So I will go through and just tighten up a couple of those ones that are distractions. And I do this primarily while listening to it in context. I just soloed here so that you could get a taste of what I'm trying to do and pay attention. But I don't edit just for editing. If something's like, oh, that's distracting, I'll get rid of the distraction. That way I keep the double effect without the distraction. But how much is a distraction is up to you, and it depends on the style of song. So I'll clean it up real quick. And then now you've got a couple choices. You can use the double the whole song.
I get no sleep from these whispers in my head.
Or you could say, you know what, let's mute it in the verse and just bring it in the hook.
Till my story's all broken in. Something's going wrong these days.
And then since it's louder, I might turn up the double so you hear it more.
Something's going wrong these days, 'cause they're coming out swinging these blades, trying to prove it's for honor. Something's going wrong.
Or What you can do, and this is done lots of times, is hard pan them left and right. If that's the case, you're going to want to make them equal volume and treat it as a different effect. So now I've got the lead one on the left, the double on the right, and you get this.
Something's going wrong these days, 'cause they're coming out swinging these blades, trying to prove it's for honor. Something's going wrong these days.
You might not like that, but it's in plenty of songs. That's a legitimate choice. If you want to compromise, though, and you want it all or can't pick one or the other, you can do the old-fashioned triple. That's right. You don't have to do just a double. You can do a triple. And I didn't tell you, but I recorded one here just in case we wanted to go that direction. So what you do is now you got the exact same thing a third time. I reperformed it a third time. So then what I can do is go back to keeping this first one up the middle and normal. And then I can pan the double and the triple left and right and get a different vibe here. So now we've got a triple.
Something's going wrong these days, 'cause they're coming out swinging these blades, trying to prove it's for honor. Something's going wrong these days, 'cause they're coming out swinging these blades, trying to prove.
Hear that vibe? And then here is sort of the S that was, see how I held this long note out?
These days, 'cause they're
So I would edit this a little bit. I would just literally chop, like delete that, break it here, and then just kind of move that in and just blend these so it's a little shorter.
these days, 'cause they're coming out swinging these blades, trying to prove it's for honor.
Isn't that cool? So now you've got the option of the triple, which is one of my absolute favorites because you get the power of the double, but you get the vocal still up the middle and still wide, so you kind of get it all. You can, of course, go quadruple. You could double the lead vocal up the middle and still have ones on the left and the right, or you can just go gang vocals, which is lots and lots of doubles, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 20, all singing the same thing and it just sounding huge and thick. And the reason why this works is simply because it's the exact same performance, as tight as possible, but it's never exactly the same performance because it's impossible to do that as a human. And it's those slight variants that create the phasing effect that sounds warm and chorusy, yet still sounding natural because you're not messing with anything. You're just re-performing the vocal. So there you have it, the Dave Grohl Foo Fighters double vocal effect. It is the easiest thing to do, one of the oldest recording tricks in the book, but you got to think about it on recording day and then just nuance it a little bit inside of the software if you want it to be tighter. Now, two things. One, leave me a comment, let me know, do you use this double effect? Do you actually do this in your own recordings? If so, let me know yes. If not, let me know if you're going to use it in your recordings moving forward. So leave a comment below the video. And two, I want to give you something. If you want more tips and training on how to get better sounding recordings, period, in your home studio, how to think about production and recording and even songwriting and mixing and mastering, all of that, if it's overwhelming to you or if you're just dipping your toes in the water, or if you're on YouTube land and you're watching this video and then another one and someone else's video and the 13 other videos and you're trying to put it all together, let me give you something that might help. I have put together a simple PDF guide called My 6 Steps to a Radio-Ready Song. This is the guide I wish I had when I was getting into recording before YouTube existed. What it does is walk you through the 6 steps that every single song you've ever heard of, whether it's a Foo Fighers song or one of my own or anything that's on the radio, every single song goes through these 6 steps. And so what I do is map it out for you so you can see point A to point B and know what the steps are. But then I take it a little further. I give you some tips and tricks and best practices for all 6 of those steps. And they all affect each other. Like we just saw today, recording is one of the steps, affects mixing, which is another step. And those are only 2 of the 6. So this is a super helpful guide, easy read. It's meant to be an ongoing resource where you download it, keep it on your phone, print it out, put it on your desk or whatever. So when you're making music, you can reference it and then get from point A to point B and get songs that don't just sound okay, but songs that sound so good that they could be on the radio, which is the goal. So to grab this free guide, just go to radioreadyguide.com. Put the link right here, somewhere on the screen, and down below in the description box. So you can just go to radioreadyguide.com, get your free download, and then use it. Please use it. It will help you as you're making music. So enjoy that as my gift to you. Have some fun doing some doubles in your next recording project, and I'll see you on another video real soon.